folks, welcome to Time to Talk with Amanda Wall. I've just had a cracking hour talking to Amanda about Therapy Dogs Nationwide, which is a reasonably new charity which takes dogs in the place of like prisons, schools and hospitals and care homes. And as well as talking to Amanda about her passion for her favourite breed, which is the Border Terrier. So get yourself a cuppa and settle down and watch Time to Talk with Amanda Wall. Take care, stay safe. Bye-bye. Hi folks, I'm here with the lovely Amanda Wall from Fenland Dogs, dog training, who's based in East Anglia. Been trying to get Amanda on for weeks now. She's so busy doing her other job. So I'm delighted to have her with us today. Amanda, I first met you, oh my goodness, it might have been 2007, 2008.
Yeah, it must have been.
Around about then. So
yeah.
With the Cambridge Institute of Dog Behaviour and Training, and we came up to Charlie's Dogs. It was Charlie's Dogs. That was the first time I met you, wasn't it, where we came up and did some filming and...
Yes.
Yeah.
Great times.
Great times, I know. It seems like a completely different lifetime ago. I mean, crikey, 2 months ago feels like a different lifetime ago. So what have you been doing since then? I mean, you've been doing so much. I can see you've got the Therapy Dogs Nationwide t-shirt on, which I want to talk to you about later, because that came later in your dog career, didn't it? So the question that I ask everyone to start off with is, why dogs? What got you into dogs?
Right. I always had dogs when I was younger. And then got married. We got our own dog. Did totally the wrong thing. Went out, bought a lovely blue Merle Border Collie cross German Shepherd. Never saw mum. Never saw dad. Never asked any questions. Did everything wrong that I could have possibly done wrong. And landed up with a dog that unfortunately literally turned a switch overnight and went from a nice dog to a really aggressive dog. So with Charlie's help and Joe's help, we did some work and we tried to turn him round. Unfortunately, he was one of those dogs we could not turn round. So just after a year, we had to have him put down, which was heartbreaking. But I then got the opportunity through Joe and Charlie to go and help up at the school. So that's where it started. So I started to go up and help, and I wanted to understand about dogs, what they were doing, how they were doing it, what was going on in their mind, potentially what had happened to mine.
Yeah.
And that was 30 odd years ago.
Good grief. And
that's where my life with dogs started. So yes, I landed up volunteering with him for many years, about 20 years. So yeah, that's where it all started, from my one dog called Fen.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because a lot of people get into dog behaviour because they've got problems with their own dogs, and then it just leads to this real thirst of knowledge, isn't it? You know, what went wrong? What could I have done to put it right? What could I have done to prevent it?
Yeah.
And then it's almost like you're on a learning quest. Each thing you learn leads you to something else and leads you to something else, and on it goes, doesn't it? And then before you know it, it's like a decade's gone and you're still nose in a book learning more about dogs.
Yeah, you never stop learning.
You never stop
learning.
Never. People who class themselves as experts, I just laugh because I go, when's that going to happen, you know?
Never. Each dog teaches me something new.
Each dog and each person, you know, every person you meet teaches you something new, and every dog you meet teaches you something new, even if it's good. I'm not doing that.
Not doing that one again.
No, let's not do that one again. No chance. But you don't have collies, GSDs, crosses now, do you? You're a terrier girl now, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I've got Border Terriers. So at the moment I have 2. Did have 3 at the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, we lost Baby, who was 18 and a half though.
Oh my goodness.
So can't moan. But yeah, I've got 2. I've got an 8-year-old and a 18-month-old, which are brilliant.
Why Border Terrier?
Dogs. Why Border Terriers? Right,
there's loads of terriers out there. Why did you go Border? Why not Jack Russell or Sealyham or something?
When I went to the vets, one of the vet nurses bred Border Terriers. So I heard about them through that way. Obviously went to see them, did everything right this time. So that was good. And they're little dogs with huge characters, and they will go on forever. They are on serious, Duracell batteries. But on the other hand, they're quite happy to sit down and cuddle up with you. So that's what I like about them. They're portable. I could tuck them under my arm when we're hill walking. Literally we've done abseiling and they've come up the sides of walls with us because they're easy to handle.
Yeah.
That's why I love them. They're so versatile. They're amazing.
Because they're real. I mean, one of my friends has got Border Terriers, and she does agility with them. And then I know somebody else who's got Border Terriers and takes them hill walking because they've just got so much stamina. And they don't shed either, do they? These are or do they?
They do, yeah. They do release their coat. They're not as bad as some dogs, but yes, they do release their coat.
They're not in the same league as Labradors, though, are they?
No, definitely not.
Because I find them quite feisty, punchy little dogs, but they've got such characterful faces, and I don't know if it's just because of the wiriness of the face, and the frown, or the kind of razor eyebrows that you as well. And are they generally barkers? Like we train. We've bred the Jack Russell to bark, so you can find it underground. So what about the Border Terriers? Are they inherently barkers?
The ones where I get them from, no, they're not. They have them not to bark. So they're taught from a very early age to be quiet, and they're quiet unless something is wrong. And then, my golly, do they let me know.
Okay.
But overall, they're really, really quiet. And I love that. But I'm lucky enough, I teach them from a very early age not to go down the holes.
Right, so what were the bred for? For anybody who's listening and doesn't know Border Terriers as such, what were the bred for?
So they're bred to go underground and to flush out badgers, foxes, anything like that, which is one of the reasons they have their coat, a double fur coat, because if the badger gets hold of them, or a fox, they can actually release the top layer of their coat, and the animal will land up with a mouthful of fur, and they can escape out. So that's why you hand strip them. That's why the hair comes out. They're also great ratters, just normal ratters, I'm afraid. That's what they are really good at. If I've got a rat in the garden, it doesn't last very long.
Fantastic.
I'm afraid.
Because, they must be really brave and feisty little things if they go down, they were bred to go down after badgers. And it's like people, the turtle dash, and that was bred to go down there as well. And people go, oh, they're really cute little fur babies. These guys go down and go after badgers,
Rosie's brother actually is a working boarder. So he actually works. And I've seen him work. Now, the difference between where I've channeled her energy into being a pet dog against where they've channeled his energy into be a working dog, I prefer mine, shall I say, than what he does. I've seen what he does.
That interesting, because are you on about ratting? Is she or?
Yeah, he goes underground, so he goes to ground.
Yeah, they're incredible, aren't they? Kind of get hold of them, give them a shake, and then throw them, and then go on to the next one. And I find it really fascinating because you then see this exactly the same behaviour in the pet dogs. When they get hold of a squeaky toy, they grab it and give it a really good shake, and you think, yeah, you're trying to rip out the brainstem there, mate. It's so interesting when you see that instinctive behaviour taken out of, out of the farmyard and then brought into the house, and it's instinctive, you can't get rid of it. It's there. It's just channeling it into something else, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can see why people get into difficulties with terriers and that, because if they don't channel it and they give them squeaky toys, my girls never have squeaky toys.
Do they not?
No, you can see what they will be doing. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. It's really interesting. So do you do agility with you, or is it the walking that you do to keep them to satisfy their needs?
Yeah, no, I don't. Round here, we've only got competition obedience people, so we've got no fun obedience, agility. Sorry. So I've got a bit of kit myself. Go up to a local field, I'll do it myself. We haven't managed to do it with Rosie yet because of all this kicking off. I haven't been able to do it this year yet. But Obi and Connie both will quite happily do a round of agility, no problem. And we'll do a very good jump off with some of the other bigger dogs.
They're quite nippy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Very, very good. Yeah, but I have to keep up with them.
I mean, I couldn't do agility. I could stand in the middle and go point, and point where I want them to go, but I couldn't run with them. I just want to clarify the word nippy, because if my friends in Scotland are listening to it, in Scotland, nippy, I don't know, this is a Scottish word that just absolutely does my head in. It's a little bit nippy outside, which means it's a little bit cold. If you go to the doctors and they go, this is going to be a bit nippy. Could be anything from like a tiny pinch to absolute agony, feeling as if you're getting your arm sawn off, And so nippy up here means something completely different. You go to the doctors and they go, I say, is it going to hurt? Oh, it's a wee bit nippy.
Right.
Oh my God. But we're on about fast, aren't we? We're on about
fast, yep.
Fast and
very quick.
agile.
Yep.
Oh, that's
definitely.
Awesome. And so when you left Charlie's and set yourself up, which is what we all end up doing at some point.
Yeah.
What did you do? Was that when you set up Fenland dog training?
Yeah. So I actually went in with my local vets.
Right.
Because vets and puppy training, always around here anyway, didn't have a really good reputation. It was like puppies off lead, puppies playing around, not really learning the rules of not bullying a smaller dog and all that sort of thing. So I decided to go into that to start off with, just to try and teach them and teach other people what could be right. And that was about, 17 years ago, and I'm still doing it.
Good grief.
So in between that time, I also then took over their upstairs area, which was my indoor dog school. And then I had a lovely paddock outside, which I still got, but my indoor area, unfortunately, was taken over. So I had nowhere indoors. Now, anybody, up in Scotland, as we're down here, it's cold, it's windy, it's horrible to be outside training. When you've got pet dog owners, they don't want to be standing out there. So I now only do the puppy training, and I do private one-to-ones. But that's fine.
That's great. No, puppy training is really important. You hear lots of people going, I'm not very experienced, I'm going to train puppies, but actually giving the puppies the right start is immensely important. And you touched on something that I'm quite passionate about, which is puppy parties. And I always, and in the books, puppy books, I always say you're better off not taking your puppy to a puppy class than taking it to a puppy party where they can run riot, because it just teaches. If you've got a strong high energy puppy, you teach it to be a bully, and if you've got a timid dog, you teach it to be bullied. And so I tend to say to people, if this is the classes, you're better off not going, because you're just going to ruin your dog. So I think people like yourself who are setting puppies up right are so important to the dog training public, because they don't get it. They think they're going to a vet, so therefore they must be trained, but the vet nurses aren't always trained. Some of them are fantastic and do a really good job, and some of them just let the puppies bundle and go a bit mad, and then we end up with lots of work, because we've got dogs that have been completely ruined. But do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy doing the puppy classes?
I love it. It's great fun. Working with the puppies, a couple of nights a week, fantastic. Working with the owners, because very often when you've got a puppy owner, they're really enthusiastic, they want to learn, they put all the time and the effort into it, and you get some nice results. So I really do enjoy it, and we get such a different variety of breeds around here. which is lovely. Yeah, really do enjoy it.
Great. I know I used to enjoy doing my young dog class more, you know, and you get like lots of different breeds, and having things like a little miniature dachshund in the same class as like a Northern Inuit, and you know, because it's just a training class. Everybody turns up and it's a mixed bag, isn't it? Gives you vast experience with different breeds, though.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So from your puppy classes, we crossed paths again, and I'm trying to remember when it was. When we both trained, we attended the Pets as Therapy Dogs training, and we were both instructor trainers, weren't we? So we were training. We weren't training the people with the dogs, we were training the people who went out to train the people with the dogs, and so we were the trainers, weren't we?
Yes.
When was that? That was a long time ago.
Oh golly. I can't remember. That was
2010, 2011, something like that, wasn't it? And you kept going with it, but I didn't. I kept going. Not to do it. I decided not to do it. And
I lasted a little bit longer.
You lasted a little bit longer. Yeah. Good for you. So, but now you are wearing, you're still with Therapy Dogs, which is amazing. And this is Therapy Dogs nationwide now. I spoke to you at Crufts a few years ago because I'm really interested in joining you, and I couldn't because I was ill and couldn't commit to it, but I'm ready to commit again. So
good.
This is really exciting for me. I want to know all about it, how it was started, why it was started, what is it doing, because I understand you're reading in schools, and just go for it, Amanda. Tell me all about it because it's so exciting.
Right. Okay, so this is... yeah, I will. This is my other passion. So Therapy Dogs Nationwide was born in around about 2016. It was born because a group of us had left PAT, and all different reasons. And instead of thinking, what are we going to go and do? A group of them all got together. I wasn't involved at that point. So a group of them all got together and decided to start up their own charity. Now, if anybody's ever tried to start up a charity, it's not easy, but they got through it, got through the Charities Commission, everything. And Therapy Dogs Nationwide was born. So we started off with literally a handful of volunteers that had all left at the same time. And they turned up at Crufts one year, just got their T-shirts and literally walked around Crufts.
That was when I bumped into you and went, I want to be involved.
Yep, that's it. And then that was the first year, which really wasn't our official year. And then the next year, we officially launched it at Crufts. So in 2017, we actually officially launched it at Crufts with the great help of Pam St. Clements, who still supports us very nicely. And basically, we do the same as all the other charities that do any therapy work with their dogs. So we go into care homes, we go into schools, we go into stroke units, we go into prisons, we go to universities, we go into workplaces. You literally name it, we will go there and help. We do a lot of mental health work nowadays as well, to try and help students and that, especially around about exam time. Just before they go into their exams, about an hour before, we have a load of dogs there. They're all sitting there patting the dogs. And we're hoping the results will show that those groups of people have actually landed up with better results because they're calmer.
Right, yeah.
That's fingers crossed on that one. That's a bit of a trial we're doing. But we have now 895 volunteers.
Wow.
And it only started in really 2017, shall we say, is our first time. So it's an amazing amount of people and volunteers.
People are so kind, aren't they? People, I mean, you know, I'm like, people need people. You know, I'm a great believer that people need people. And when you can do something to help somebody else, I think it's such a wonderful thing to do. And it's a way of giving back, isn't it? You know? So what do you do in prisons?
In the prisons, we actually go to a secure area where there's usually quite a few guards, and a certain amount of prisoners are allowed to come in and meet the dogs. It's a bit like a reward thing.
Okay.
So we've only got special people that go into those, because obviously, number one, the dogs have got to be as sound as a pound because of the noises and the behaviours. So they're dogs we have known for a long time. And also the person has to be a certain type of person to be able to go through all those doors and be locked in. I've only gone once with somebody, and it's a very weird feeling.
It's that so, you've made me think of is it behind these walls or behind closed doors or something? It was the old prison drama from the 70s, and you would hear them bang the doors shut and then lock them, and you'd be standing between two sets of bars, and then I don't know if I could do that. I've worked with wolves, and everything's double barred with wolves, so you go in and you lock yourself in, bolt yourself in, and so you're in this little enclosure between there's the door to the wolves and there's the door out, but you're completely locked in, and you're standing and you go, okay, well, I hope that door's been locked properly. That's with wolves. So I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I've got the temperament for it.
No, we do have to have special. Yeah, it is definitely a specialist one. A lot of people say they want to do it, but once we say, right, buddy up with somebody, go and have a look, and they come back and they say, no, I'll go to a care home instead.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
I think to be working prisons is a real, it's a real mindset, isn't it? It's the whole feeling of just thinking about it. It's like, oh my God, you'd be feeling really trapped. Let me out.
You are, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you visit care homes as well, and
yeah, we do.
Do you want the hospitals too?
Hospitals, yes. We do hospices as well, so end of life we do as well. But we do normal hospitals. We go into children's units. If a child's having difficulty with a procedure, if the hospital know that the child's going to be having that problem, they'll ask one of them to go in, and they will bandage the dog up and pretend to put the drip in and that, so the child can see it's okay. So it's another trying to get people over worries and things like that. So we do things like that with a lot of the children. And it works.
Of course it was the dogs. Who wouldn't calm down with having a little stroke with the dogs? What about cuddling? Because we don't really cuddle dogs, do we? We don't get hold of them and give them a big squishy because they don't particularly like it. So what happens on that score?
We've got certain dogs that don't mind being squished and cuddled. That is fine. If we've got a dog that doesn't like being squished and cuddled, we never put it in that situation. So it would always go to somewhere where that isn't going to happen. Okay, so my two don't care. They're quite happy when we're doing reading for the kids to be laying, next to them, arm over them, no problem. But some dogs that are quite happy to sit there and watch and listen to the kids or listen to the older person, stroking them, but yes, don't want to be snuggled. So that is part of the assessment as well, is where we find out what we can do with the dog and what we can't do with the dog.
Okay, so before we get on to the assessments, you've just mentioned about reading, you have kids reading to them. What is that? Because I saw something a few years ago now, they were talking about it in America, where there was one where they had children going into rescue kennels to read to the dogs to improve their reading. And then the other one was where people would go in to the classroom with the dog and read a story, and the children could sit with the dog. And so there's lots of different approaches for reading with dogs, isn't there? So what approaches do you do in the class, and what age group as well? Is it like just little ones, or is it?
No, age-wise, it's anything. anybody that needs some help or some confidence. So what my girls do and what I do is we go into a junior school, and we can do anything from year 3 to year 6.
Right.
But really is a huge amount of, age difference of children. And it's all the children that need that little bit of extra confidence with reading out loud, or need some more social skills, things like that, or are having difficulty with concentrating. So I'll have the children for 15 minutes, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's 15 minutes when they've got to sit there and read with the dogs, and then they get to play with the dog afterwards.
Okay.
So we've got bean bags on the floor, for example. So there's bean bags on the floor. I'm sprawled out of the bean bags. The dogs are. The kids come in one at a time, and they choose which book, and then they usually sprawl out on the bean bags, and then they start reading. So Connie, my older one, she usually lands up going to sleep and snoring. So fantastic. I have to tell the kids that they've got to keep her entertained, and I keep poking her to stop her snoring. That's just typical Connie. Rosie is very different. She will interact with them a lot and sort of throw her head underneath their chin and sort of look at them and sort of say, I'm really enjoying this.
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, I've got 2 different ones. So, and the kids just learn to read out loud, and then gradually, as their confidence is starting to build up, I will then land up going into a classroom with them. And then the dog will sit with them, and I'll sit with them, because obviously I have to hold on to the lead, and they're then stroking the dog as they're reading in class, and those feelings of everything was okay when I was reading out loud in the library hopefully gets transformed to the classroom. And then over another period of weeks, I gradually wean them off of the dog. So I then start stepping away a little bit further away until I'm literally at the back of the classroom, and then by that time I'm out the classroom, and then the kids' confidence and reading improves.
Fantastic. That sounds great. I don't know if you know, I'm an NLP practitioner, so I do neuro-linguistic programming, and when you were talking there, I thought, it would be amazing if you could put an anchor in. So when you anchor something, it's a bit like classical conditioning, you just associating 2 things together. And so if I'm teaching people to be confident in public speaking, for example, what we'll do is we'll put them in a position of feeling really amazing, a really good state, and like, oh, this is awesome, I'm really enjoying it. And then we'll get them to do something, either just push their fingers together or cross their fingers or do a fist. And what you're doing is you're anchoring the emotion of feeling amazing onto the body. So the next time, and we really, really reinforce it, and then the next time you want to bring forward that amazing feeling, you do whatever it was you were doing, and that will bring the feeling back. And so listening to you, I thought, you could do some anchoring there.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll talk you through how to do it. It's, off air, but that is basically it. You have somebody in a really good state, and then you anchor it in by either, pressing or just doing something you wouldn't normally do. And then to bring that feeling back, you just work on the anchor, and that then stimulates the mind into releasing all of these really good feelings.
Oh, excellent. I like that.
It's really good. It is really powerful. For anything, public speaking, whatever, confidence, excitement, the whole lot, calming everything down. So do you have a teacher in the room with you when the kids are reading, or is it just one-to-one?
It's I can actually do it one-to-one because I've done the all their courses that they wanted me to do, the school, so I can actually do it one-to-one. But most of the volunteers will always have a teacher with them.
Or like a learning assistant.
Yeah, learning assistant teacher, somebody like that, just so you've got another body there, just in case anything happens.
Yeah.
But usually, I'm usually on my own. Sometimes I've got a teaching assistant with me. Depends who's free. But yeah, I was lucky enough, I suppose, as well, to do all the courses with them, with the school. They were quite happy for me to do them, so I could go ahead and do it.
So are you registered on all the different school networks, and also in relation to hospitals and prisons, are you on this register of approved charities? And
Yes, we are. Yes, now.
Yeah.
We've got that now.
So you're part of the Bark to Read programme, aren't you? Did you help set that up, or did you help with any of the standards? Because I know you were attending meetings, weren't you?
Yeah, so we're part of, there was about 14 other charities and companies there that are doing this. And all of us were at a point where needed to start to get some standards of dogs being into schools, because there's a lot of people that are just taking their dogs into school.
Yeah.
And it's there all day, and it's a bit like a doggy daycare, but it's in a school. So we wanted actual standards that the governing bodies of the schools would take on, which they have done. So we spent, about a year backwards and forwards to the Kennel Club and Dogs for Good. We actually went to their sites a couple of times, and working on all the new plan of how we're going to put down these new practices, so that we can make it more streamlined about how dogs should be in a school, how long they should work for, what breaks the dogs need. So it's all about the welfare of the dog, as well as what we're going to do for the children. So all those new practices are on the Kennel Club website now, because they've actually all been done and finished and signed off.
Fantastic. That is really cool. So there's there's some really good solid guidelines, because I think a lot of people think dogs can just keep going and going and going, and they can't. It's hard going for them. I go picking up with the dogs, and you have to kind of get them to that level. You have to work on that fitness level and concentration, and just to throw them in, a full day at school or half a day at school. It's really exhausting for them.
Yeah, it is. The girls will do an hour. And then if the school needs me any longer, they have to have half an hour break away from any of the children. So we go away, and then we will come back and we'll do it and say another half an hour session. But then I've got two really tired girls for the rest of the day. Yeah. And they just sleep. It's mentally exhausting. People say, well, how can it be? Because they're just being petted, they're just being, touched or whatever. But they're being good the whole time. They're literally on their best behaviour.
Minding their manners.
They know as soon as they got the uniform on, they're going to go to work, and they're in a completely different mindset to what they are on a normal day, shall we say.
Yeah. So what's the uniform for the dogs?
So the dogs have either a little jacket or a bandana.
Oh, okay, cute.
And they have a collar with Therapy Dogs Nationwide and a lead, all in yellow. So yeah, that's what our uniform is for the dogs.
And for the humans, it's this lovely black and yellow t-shirt.
Yep.
Why yellow? Do you know why yellow was chosen?
No, actually, I don't know why yellow, because it wouldn't have been colour I would have chosen, but I don't know why. It does stick out.
It really sticks out.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it does really stick out. But yeah, no, I don't know if that's odd.
It's a good
thing. It is a good thing, yes.
Everybody knows, and I think the importance of uniforms can't be underrated. I think, lots of people turn up with dogs and there's no uniformity. Then you're kind of thinking, well, who does this person belong to? But so from the outside looking in, it's really good, because you can identify all of the people within the group, and you can identify the dogs as well. But from the inside out, you feel as if you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel it just a sense of belonging. You've got your tribe. You've got your tribe, which is really important.
Yeah, so we've definitely got a tribe.
Well, that's one of my favourite words. It's like you've got dog packs and you've got human tribes, and
yeah, I like that. Yeah,
they're both really important. We're our social. We're social predators. Dogs are social predators. They're a pack. We're a tribe. And then they come together. So, what does the dog have to do to become part of the Therapy Dogs Nationwide? network? Is it, because it's TDN, isn't it? So is it Therapy Dogs or Therapy Dogs Nationwide?
Therapy Dogs Nationwide.
So you always say Therapy Dogs Nationwide?
Yep, or TDN.
So how does somebody, so say for example me, if I wanted to be part of TDN with my dog, what would I have to do?
So you would need to go to our website and fill in one of the forms, very simple form, name, email address, and then all the details of what you would need for your assessment and all about the charity and everything is just downloaded to you.
Oh.
So that's the easy bit.
Uh-huh.
Nice and easy. Within that, you've got your assessment form.
Uh-huh.
We get people to go through the assessment form themselves, look at it. Can my dog do this? Most people will say yes, because it's not that difficult. But some people will think, oh, I need to practice that, so I'll put it off for a while.
Uh-huh.
And they can practice it. But basically, the assessment is your dog's got to be able to walk nicely on a loose lead. Doesn't have to do perfect hill work.
Uh-huh.
Just needs to walk nicely on a loose lead.
Not full. On a regular collaring lead? No head collars, no harnesses?
No, we will only do harnesses. Yeah. Harnesses we do for medical reasons. Uh-huh. And for certain breeds. But apart from that, no, it's normal collar and lead.
Good. Sensible.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep. That is one of the things that we are, I've got to see you on a collar and lead. And they've got to be able to not jump up.
Uh-huh.
Really important one. They've got to be able to leave a treat. Reason for that one is because very often when you go into a care home, there are tablets on the floor that shouldn't be on there. Yeah. So you have to be able to tell them to leave it, and they're going to leave it. Uh-huh. So that's a safety thing. They've got to be able to want to come to us as assessors and be fussed. You'll be surprised how many dogs, when you get down to do the assessing part, just start to back off.
Yeah, a bit discerning.
And people are going, oh no, he's really good with other people, and you're like, not quite.
My Labrador is quite discerning. He wouldn't be any good. He's like, oh. And then after a few minutes, he's his best friend, but to start off with, it's like, who are you? What do you want? Yeah,
a little bit suspicious. So they need to be able to want to come to us. Then we check them all over. So we check a vet check, basically, just to make sure they're happy with being handled, especially making sure that the tail is happy to be held and pulled and twisted and goodness knows what else, because some of the children we go to aren't from mainstream schools, they are from special needs schools, so they do grab a bit more than some of the other ones. So we need to make sure that's okay. Then we need to make sure that they're happy to being stroked and patted and all of that. But we also do that with a hand like this, because a lot of the older people have got arthritis. Yeah. And can't stroke like that. So we all stroke like that. But suddenly when you do that to a dog, they're like, whoa, that doesn't feel normal. Yeah. So we do that all over. So we're checking that sort of thing. We need to make sure how quickly they recover from a noise. So we will drop something to the side of them that will make a nice clanging noise.
Is it the big tray with cutlery on it?
No, it's not that bad.
Oh, thank goodness, because I hated that one. That was one of the things that put me off Pat, actually. Yeah. Because I thought it was over the top. I thought it was too much for the dogs.
Yeah, no, it isn't. I usually just drop my keys. Yeah. So just a normal, what you would drop at home. Yeah. And the dogs are allowed to back off. They're allowed to react to it. We just want to see how quickly they recover. The main reason for this is because if you're in a hospital, there are huge noises in there. Yeah. The school bell, the first time I heard it, I'd forgotten how loud it was.
Oh, it's really loud.
The girls were fine. I jumped 3 foot in the air. The girls were fine. But yeah, that sort of thing. We need to make sure that they don't mind their feet being touched. Because a lot of people, like the kids especially, when the dogs are laying, they'll play with their feet. Yeah. So we need to make sure there's no reaction with feet. Now, if they react to any of these, it potentially isn't that's it. forget it. You know, I've done ones where we've put on there, nobody can touch the dog's front feet.
Right. Okay.
It's not aggressive, but it just doesn't like it.
Yeah, which is fair enough.
Easy one. Nobody touches their front feet. So those are the sort of things we're doing in the assessment the whole time. So it's real basic things. We're not looking for the perfect dog. We're looking for the temperament. We're looking for the dog that wants the cuddle, wants to interact with people, but wants to do it with all 4 feet on the floor.
Yes. And what about licking?
All dogs will lick a certain amount, especially I'm really unfortunate. I'm just after their break time. So when the kids come in, they've had crisps and goodness knows what else on their hands, potentially haven't washed their hands.
Yeah.
So my girls, I'll tell them not to do it, and they won't. We don't allow licking of the face, and we don't encourage licking. But if the dog does the odd lick, it's fine. But excess licking, barking, whining, all those sort of things aren't acceptable, because very often we are sitting there talking to somebody. So we've got to have the dogs to be relaxed next to your side and calm and quiet. So those sort of things we're looking for as well as we're going through it.
Great. That sounds fab, because I know years ago I was thinking about doing Pat with Bart, but he was a terrible licker. You know, he was just a classic black Labrador, lick, 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 lick. And so I didn't, and I couldn't do it with Angus because he was really sound sensitive.
Right, yeah.
I was not prepared to let anybody drop a tray full of cutlery beside him. No way.
No.
I thought that was a horrific test. So I didn't put them forward for Pat, although I did recommend it at the time. Have you got a preferred breed or dog or size, or, you know, for the dogs that is a welcoming into TDN?
Nope. We have everything. So we have things from Great Danes right down to Chihuahuas. We've got everything in between. We've got 3-legged dogs. We've got 1-eyed dogs. We've got deaf dogs. We do have a couple of blind dogs, which is surprising. But again, they go into care homes where the elderly are quite happy and understand how things are with that dog, and they've been going for a while. They sort of lost their sight, should we say, over a period of time with it. So, you know, people in the care homes are quite happy with it as well. So we take everything or anything, crossbreeds, pure breeds, show dogs, agility dogs, gun dogs, you name it. We're not biased.
No, as long as the temperament assessment.
Yeah. And also the owner passes their assessment as well.
I was just about to say that. More about the people. What assessment have we got to do?
Yeah. So the owner has to be interested in a charity. Has to have a good relationship with their dog, because it's amazing how many really well-behaved dogs there are. But the interaction between the owner and the dog is very cold.
Reserved. Yes.
Yes. Where the dog will do everything they've said, but the dog isn't really with them. And they've got to be able to talk to people. There's no point coming to an assessment and sitting there and not interacting with me, because you're never going to interact with somebody that you're just going to walk into, a hospital or that. And they've got to be reasonably outgoing people.
Yeah. So, how many assessors have you got? Are you right around the country?
Yes, we are. We cover a good percentage of the country. We've got about 39, I think, assessors now, which is my job as well, which is I train the assessors.
Great.
So I go around the country to do that. So we've got about 39. Could do with more. But yeah, we cover most of the UK. We can get an assessor to most places. We've got some assessors that are brilliant. They'll travel sort of 60 miles to do an assessment.
Great.
I'll travel to the Norfolk coast but I would do a group assessment. So I'll be up there for a day,
Uh-huh.
and I'll make sure there's a group of them, and I'll go up there and do that because I've got nobody up that end of the world. So that's about an 80, 90 mile an hour round trip for me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, our volunteers are really, really good, and they are quite willing to travel. But the more assessors I can get, the better.
Yeah.
It's growing. It will grow.
These have done amazing in such a short space of time. So really, 3 years. Is phenomenal. And the fact that he's going into prisons as well, I think is really good. Because like everyone, well, maybe a lot of people know about dogs going into schools and care homes, but not so much prisons, because that's a really stressful place for people as well. Regardless of what they've done, it's still a really stressful place, and it's good to have the therapy.
And it's really stressful for the dogs because the atmosphere that's in there is so tense.
Yeah, I can imagine. A lot of dogs start barking and become very defensive.
Yeah, we've had dogs that have gone in there and then they've had to come out because they can't cope with it.
No.
But in another situation, they're fine.
Uh-huh. Wow. It sounds amazing what you're doing, and still doing your puppy work as well. So what are the plans at the minute? I mean, we're still in lockdown. It's the 18th of May. I'm just checking the date on my computer. It's 18th of May. So still England's kind of faffing about with lockdown. Scotland's still in lockdown. What are you doing at the minute? Are you just trying to get admin done, or trying to keep the interest there ready for coming out of lockdown?
The interest has dried up completely.
Well,
our phones aren't ringing. And because we're all volunteers, we all work from home. So it's not as though the office is shut because we don't have one.
No.
So yes, the phones have stopped. The admin's all stopped. So yes, there's the admin teams doing tidying up, looking at different things we can do as we come out. Obviously, all the volunteering has stopped. We can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. So all the dogs are on a break. So they've all been furloughed, as I keep telling them. You've been furloughed. So when we will get back into a care home, I don't know.
No,
I have no idea. Will it be this year? I can't see me getting back into a school this year, talking to my head.
Really?
Yeah. They think it's going to be a long, slow process getting back to normal. And then, obviously, then they have to take the risk of bringing their volunteers back in.
Yeah. And the volunteers have got to take that risk as well, haven't they?
Yeah. So I'm looking that everything will be on hold until next year. That's personally me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see hospitals letting us in.
No, I can't.
Prisons aren't going to let us in. The universities aren't working. So until they start back up, we're not going to be able to use them. Workplaces, we may get into some workplaces earlier, like Amazon and places like that we go into to do.
Oh, you go to Amazon?
Yeah, we do stress awareness events for them, especially around about Christmas time.
Oh, yeah.
And we just take a load of dogs in to there. But I really can't. I think we're going to be one of the last that's going to be out of the trap to be able to go and do our work.
I mean, there's just so much uncertainty, isn't there? Nobody knows what's going on at all, and we can't even plan for anything at the minute, which is understandable. We just kind of have to take each day as it comes, don't we, and hope that we come out of it the other side. Although I don't think life will ever be the same again, really, will it? No,
I don't think it will. I think it'll be a lot different, hopefully for the better.
Well, I was talking to Kenya the other day about the virus and everything and that. Can you remember when Lord of the Rings came out?
Yep.
And we talked about it a lot then. If you were given this ring of power that would allow you to rule everything, would you be able to destroy it? Would you be able to do it? Would you be able to undo what has been done? Like, would you be able to undo it permanently? And then, you know, and we're watching the news and you see, you know, the dolphins are back and the water's clear and the ozone's healing and the sky is lovely and clear. And it's like, to me, it's very much, I'm being all authorish, to me it's very much like Frodo standing with the ring. Do I drop it into the lava and make it so that this can never ever happen again? And so I kind of feel as if we're right on the edge there, you know. Or the government's going to go back and try and push people flying to the level that they were. They're going to try and push, you know, the corporations and go back to the massive pollution. You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
Or they say, right, enough is enough. We've got clear skies. We've got rid of the pollution. We're starting to clean up the oceans. Enough, you know. Or the people in power so money hungry that they're just going to go for it.
I hope we can keep a good level of the two, so we can still keep everything going and the planet doing what it's doing, because it is lovely. It's lovely to see everything coming back and the beautiful clear seas and that sort of thing, and the sky's not quite as busy. But yeah, I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
I think a lot of us are really hoping. You know, I mean, I was living in Scotland, when people were saying, "Oh, you should see the sky, you can see the stars," and it's like, well, yes, I know. And we can't always, you know, but I know from when I lived down south, it just, you know, when I lived in London for a while as well, and it was just, you know, you then black in the corner of the eyes. And
yeah.
it was be vile, and it's just the level of pollution was just horrific. So yeah,
we can only but hope.
Well, I hope that things turn around quickly for you once we get out of lockdown, once the schools are open. I hope everything starts turning around really quickly for you and you can get the dogs out there, because there's going to be a lot of people needing the stroke dogs when they come out. I just feel it for the people who are on their own and haven't got dogs or cats, to stroke and have that, you know, animal that they can just relate to and get comfort from. But I think these are going to be needed more than ever when we come out of lockdown. And I just hope everything starts moving really quickly, and I hope that the different organisations realise just how valuable you are to help them get back on an even keel with their patients, with the students, with, you know, everybody. So I hope it all turns around really quickly for you, Samantha.
I think it will. I think, you know, we've had already some inquiries about when and if can you come. So we've had some of those already. So yeah, I think it will be, you know, I keep saying to the volunteers, look, just rest up, because I think we're going to be busy afterwards.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, collect your stamps now, ready for when they're going to go flying out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amanda, it's been great talking to you, and I'm so glad we got to talk after, you know, we've both been really busy, even though in lockdown the pay was so completely flat out. And it's been so good to talk to you and find out more about Therapy Dogs Nationwide. Thank you so much for taking time out to talk to me. Thank you for inviting us. Oh, you're welcome. You take care, take it steady and stay safe. I will, and you too. I will. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.